We wish you a quick impeachment. We wish you a quick impeachment. We wish you a quick impeachment and conviction next year. Indictments we bring to you and your kin. Indictments for Christmas, out of office next year. Oh, bring us a peanut pudding. Oh, bring us a peanut pudding. Oh, bring us a peanut pudding and a cup of jail time. Indictments we bring to you and your kin. Indictments for Christmas, out of office next year. We wish you a quick impeachment. We wish you a quick impeachment. We wish you a quick impeachment and conviction next year.
Hey everyone, this is Kelly. This is Two Broads Talking Politics. The song you just heard is by a group called Sing Out Louise in New York City. You'll hear another song from them again later. I am on today with my co-host Sophie. Hey Sophie.
Hey Kelly.
Happy New Year, even though you're sick.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you too. Happy 2020.
I am ecstatic that it is finally 2020.
I am too, and I think that it's a year that a lot of people have been really looking forward to, and so it was really exciting to wake up today and see 2020 on the calendar for the first time. So
yeah, it's still no flying cars or anything, but the chance to vote in November, I think outweighs everything else.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've got some things for this episode, just kind of a light, fun episode. We've got some voicemails from our listeners, some things that they wanted to say. We have, in addition to another song by Sing Out Louise, we also have coming up in a little bit, you'll hear a feminist version of Baby It's Cold Outside, which is sung by Genevieve Thiers and John Vincent, who are both Chicagoans. And Genevieve has been on the podcast before. She's one of the producers of Run, the series. And so that's very cool. I'm glad that that's going to be on. And then we're also going to have a song toward the end by Andre Washington. He has several songs. He's also a Chicagoan. He has several songs that he's done for Lizmas, which is Elizabeth Warren Christmas. So we'll have a Lizmas song, which anyone who listens to this probably already has figured out that Sophie and I have a slight favorite for the Democratic primary. So what things are you happy to be done with in 2019?
Oh gosh, I'm happy to be done with all of 2019. I felt like so much of 2019 from a personal standpoint was hard, but also from a political standpoint, so much of it was, there were some interesting races, but it was hard to get people engaged on them because most people are focused on 2020.
Yeah.
So even the races that we were able to be working on, we were sort of fighting against, I think, a general propensity to say, oh, this doesn't matter. 2020 is the big one.
Yeah.
So it's nice to sort of move on from that kind of off-year vibe and really get ready for sort of the event that a lot of people have been thinking about for 4 years, which is the presidential election, but also to, start thinking about some important Senate races that we're going to be engaged in and some local, more down-ballot races that can benefit from sort of the national environment. So I think I'm really glad to leave 2019 behind me on a whole bunch of different levels. How about you?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there was a lot of good that happened in 2019. I had a piece that I wrote recently for Dumbcast about the top 10 Nancy Pelosi moments of 2019. But even that, it was clear that a lot happened at the beginning of 2019 and a lot happened at the end of 2019. In the summer, I must have just sort of glossed over it in my mind, but the summer was a long slog. There was a lot of Democratic infighting happening. There was a lot of will they or won't they impeach. I'm glad summer 2019 is far past us at this point because I'm ready to move on.
Me too.
I think, I don't know about you, but of course I normally live in a very, very, very liberal place on the south side of Chicago. I am, as we're recording, in Ohio in a not so liberal place, and it's been very, very interesting sociologically to sort of see what's going on here. I see lots of Trump flags, which is weird for me. But I've also, I haven't shied away from wearing my Democratic t-shirts around, and I've had people come up to me and want to hear my thoughts on the primary, and they're excited to get rid of Trump. So, I think it's going to be quite a year.
Yeah, I'm also in Ohio temporarily, about like an hour-ish away from you. And I'm in Youngstown, which is kind of portrayed in the national media as prime Trump territory, although the county actually went for Hillary Clinton in 2016. And I did note that there were no Trump signs when we drove down to Adam's father's house, which is in Columbiana County, which is a much more conservative Republican district, and which had several Trump signs when we drove down there in April, but I have not seen any. They seem to have vanished. So
yeah, I've only seen a few here, and I haven't seen any MAGA hats or anything. So, we'll see. It's I'm not going to predict that Stark County is going to go for a Democrat or anything, but even if Stark County moves a little bit to the left, that's a good sign for the rest of the country.
Heck yeah.
Well, so I think we have a ton to look forward to. We have a ton to look forward to on the podcast. We have just so many great guests booked for January. Starting 2 days from now, January 3rd, Senator Debbie Stabenow will be on the Vote Her In episode, so that's going to be super exciting. So I hope everybody will listen. We're not going to have very many men on in January, if any. It's going to be mostly women. I don't think we'll keep that up all year because there's so many important races going on with male Democrats running. But, for a little bit, we'll keep up the girl power.
Yeah, and we have a couple of exciting races coming up before we even get to November. I'm thinking particularly of the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, which we are going to have Jill Karofsky on to talk to us in the next month or so. And it's a very exciting race here in Wisconsin. As longtime listeners will know, Wisconsin Supreme Court is elected and sort of goes back and forth. It's always a very close race. And of the last two, we won one. So it should be pretty exciting, and it'll be a nice thing to get excited about for me before the primaries really heat up.
Yeah, and you'll hear a voicemail very soon on here from the campaign for a guy who's in a special election in Pennsylvania for the state legislature on January 14th, so that's super, super soon. And then, of course, we recently talked to Dr. Eliz Markowitz, who is running in Texas in a special election on January 28th. So that's also very soon. So yeah, there's going to be some important specials, lots of down ballot stuff, lots of primaries, of course, happening. So this is going to be a year where you just can't escape elections. They're going to be happening constantly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I announced on Twitter, and on Facebook, so I'll announce here my resolution. My only non-political resolution for the year is that I want to be able to do 50 push-ups in a row by the end of the year. So I am expecting everyone listening to hold me accountable. I can currently do 0. Do you have any political or non-political resolutions for us, Sophie?
My only resolution this year is Kelly knows this, but I've been having some emotional and mental health struggles, and so I'm trying to get my anxiety under control again. And I'm just really looking forward to a trip that I'm going to be taking with my family. My husband and my son and both my parents are coming with me on a month-long trip through Italy and Greece, where hopefully I'll be able to interview some Italians and Greek people and ask them sort of what they think about our current political moment.
And we will try not to be too jealous back here.
It should be very interesting.
Yeah, I am thrilled for you. I think that's super exciting, and we can't wait to hear about everything, and hopefully you get some interviews to see what people think of the U.S. right now, which I'm assuming is not very good.
Just from my sampling, it's not great, but
yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Well, I think with that, we will wrap up this part of the episode, and you should keep listening for lots of good voicemails and songs. And if you hear any what sounds like a voicemail, but the voice, instead of being a woman, sounds like an 8-year-old boy, that is because Teddy is going to read the text of some of the voicemails that people sent by email instead.
Cool.
All right. Well, Happy New Year, and I look forward to all the exciting stuff that happens in 2020.
Definitely. Happy New Year, Kelly.
Hello, this is Marie from Minneapolis, Minnesota. My political resolution for 2020 is to find at least 2 people who didn't vote in 2016 and let them know that they can take time off of work to vote. After the 2016 election, I was talking to my friend Dave, and he had said something along the lines, I didn't vote, I had to work. OMG, in Minnesota, you're legally allowed to take time to vote, and you won't get penalized for it. He didn't know that, so he just didn't do it. The 2 broads will post the statute on their website. Dave knows about voting time now, and you bet your ass I can find other people. Every vote counts.
I really can't stay.
Darling, I understand.
And he flows on the way.
Crap. Let's make a plan.
I really must go.
What can I do, dear?
Get some supplies.
You put your feet up and I'll drive.
Walgreens is 9 to 5
Your chariot
here.
is waiting.
And Ben and Jerry's comes by the pint.
I'm just glad we are dating.
So let's get the car and go
I
out.
can just sleep on the floor.
And then we can just call it a night.
Or I'll take the couch while you snore.
I'm in a bad slump.
How about we get Chinese?
That time of the month.
Spring rolls and soy sauce, please.
And I hate my job.
They don't deserve you.
I need a change.
You've got this, babe. You've got such range.
I ought to say, boss, I'm leaving.
He'll be so disbelieving.
I really am unhappy inside.
Well, you got a fan by your side.
Maybe I'll stay.
That'd be super.
Because it's cold outside. This takeout is great.
How about some great kung pao?
I might just gain weight.
You still look great anyhow.
The snow's coming down.
Here, take this pillow.
We're nice and warm.
Look out the window at the storm.
I need a 10-year career
You
plan.
ought to run for office.
I'm working, but I just want more.
Your run would be just flawless.
Do you think that I could do
Yes,
that?
I think you'll climb quite high.
I have never done that before.
Well, there's nothing else but to try.
But what about kids?
We can start to prepare.
And heaven forbid
We'll get some good child care.
that we have it all.
I could stay home here.
That just can't be.
Why don't you trust some more in me?
You'll be a perfect husband.
I'm gonna certainly try.
And I'll try to make a good wife.
I'll be the luckiest guy.
Okay, so I'll stay.
I don't have any doubt.
We'll make a warm life. You know, I just keep thinking you're gonna be a jerk.
This is what a feminist looks like, babe.
Hey, Jamie from Utah here. I have one political resolution for 2020. Vote blue, no matter who.
My name is Nathan Lund, and I'm the campaign manager for Michael Schroeder for PA Senate. He's running in a special election that's going to take place on January 14th, and I really just want attention to be on this race from across the nation because it's a real opportunity for us to send a message that in Pennsylvania we are paying to play as Democrats, and we aren't messing around. We really want to win this one and set a good precedent for flipping the state Senate this year, hopefully the state house too, and then just bring it on home in November for the presidential. So it's the 48th Senate district in Pennsylvania. The candidate name is Michael Schroeder, and I hope that you will check it out. Thank you so much.
It's the most wonderful cry of the year. Ding dong. With his kids still hoteling and Moscow cavelling, 'cause they dog is here. It's the most wonderful cry of the year. It's the crappiest treason of all. Ding dong. With Donnie complaining that all his Ukrainian was one perfect call. It's the grappiest treason of all. There'll be parties for toasting when Chip is done roasting and Rudy is out in the snow. With all the feds squealing about Donnie's dealings, it's off to impeachment we go. It's the most wonderful crime of the year.
Ding dong, ding dong.
With Junior and Eric and frickin' hysterics, the feds drawing near. It's the most wonderful crime. It's the most wonderful crime. It's the most wonderful crime of the year.
This is Mindy Schwartz from Carlsbad, California. My resolution for 2020 is to not be afraid and stand up against bigotry, prejudice, and anti-Semitism. And I'm hoping that this time next year we'll be celebrating a blue America. Happy New Year.
Hey, this is Dr. Nolan Higdon of Along the Line. My political aspiration for 2020 is that the corporate media and political class will start referring to Donald Trump as what he is, a fascist, and fight him with the same vigor they fight Bernie Sanders for being a democratic socialist.
This is Chris Hyman in Missouri. I have a call to action, resolution, and hope. My call to action is to get Missouri residents registered to vote. From the campaign manager side, my resolution is to get my candidate, John Keeney, who is running for Missouri State Rep in House District 110, to gain momentum and grassroots support by doing 110 events in front of voters by November 1st, 2020. Then, of course, my hope is he wins on November 3rd.
God rest ye merry billionaires, you'll get to keep your yachts. Just pitch in 2 cents of your wealth and Liz can pay for lots. Like better public schools and pre-K for our precious tots. Oh, tidings of Warren and her plans, dozens of plans. Oh, tidings of Warren and her plans. And if you go to college, Liz has some plans for you. With their 2 cents, you can attend your choice HBCU. Your student loans will disappear and never will come due. Oh, tidings of Warren and her plans, dozens of plans. Oh, tidings of Warren and her plans. If you're a working family, then Liz will bring you luck. Your kids can go to childcare and you'll never spend a buck. Those billionaires may cry their tears, but we don't give up. Oh, tidings of Warren and her plans, dozens of plans. Oh, tidings of Warren and her plans. Merry Lizmas, everyone.
This is Teddy from Chicago. My political call to action is to take your kids with you to vote every time. My mommy and daddy always take me to vote, and I can't wait until I turn 18 and get to vote too. Happy New Year!
Rudolph the bug-eyed bagman had a very shiny skull. And if you watch Fox TV, you can see him slinging bull. All of the other lawyers love to laugh and call him names. Even his wives hate Rudy. Every marriage ends in flames. Then one sleazy summer day, Donnie came to say, Rudy, get your buddy Lev, fly on down and bribe Kiev. Then how the Kremlin loved him, but the plot was too insane. Rudolph the bug-eyed bagman, you'll go down around Ukraine.
Thank you for listening to Two Broads Talking Politics, part of the Dimcast Podcast Network. Our theme song is called Are You Listening? Off of the album Elephant Shaped Trees by the band Immunuri, and we're using it with permission of the band. Our logo and other original artwork is by Matthew Weflin and was created for use by this podcast. You can contact us at twobroadstalkingpolitics@gmail.com or on Twitter or Facebook at Two Broads Talk. You can find all of our episodes at twobroadstalkingpolitics.com or anywhere podcasts are found.